Five reasons to use Flash. Number 1, Flash is awesome. Number 2, Flash is awesome. Number 3, Flash is awesome. 4, Flash is awesome. And 5, Flash is awesome. Actually, those are not the 5 reasons to use Flash, although they should be. The real reason that we want to use Flash is primarily just control of light. Control of light in any scene that we're working within. But what exactly are we controlling? Well, controlling light is just the main overriding reason, but there's actually 4 components that we're going to be controlling in each scene that we approach. And this is what Flash allows us to do. So let's talk about each of these in detail. Well, let's go over it real quick. Control of light is number 1. Control of the amount of light is number 2. The direction of light is number 3. The quality of light is number 4. And the color of light is going to be number 5. So let's go through each in detail, starting with the amount of light. Now, most people, when they think of using Flash, they think of super dramatic portraits, whether it's on set in a studio or whether it's out on location. They think of all sorts of crazy dramatic type looks. The beautiful thing about Flash is it can be used that way, but it doesn't have to be used that way. So over here on the left, we're using just a little bit of Flash bounced off a reflector to correct the color of light and also to add a soft bit of fill light into the scene. So we're actually matching the light of sunset because that's a very orange light. So we're actually using orange Flash basically with a gel. And we're bouncing into there to create a beautiful, natural looking portrait. Right here, we have a reflector that's catching light from the sun and bouncing into our face, but we're not getting quite enough light and we're not getting the light wrap the way we want it to. So what we've done is we've bounced a Flash into that reflector as well with the sunlight to kind of create more light wrap and to just kind of brighten up the scene overall to power up the existing light, if you will. Here, well, this is a scene that most of us would think in, exposing for dark subjects in a dark scene. Here we have a beautifully exposed background, but our subject is completely in the dark. They're completely shaded, we can't see anything. So of course we're using Flash in that instance just to bring out our model. Okay, so that is probably one of the most obvious uses of Flash, and of course we can use it for that. But here we also have a shot to basically overpower the sun or another type of light source. So what we're doing here is the top image is exposed for skin tones, and you can see that while it looks very nice and that's a great style in and of itself, we lose a lot of color and tonation in the sky. So what we're doing in the bottom image is we're using Flash to basically overpower the sun a little bit, to pull that exposure down, to reveal more rich tones and rich colors in the background, which ends up giving us a more dramatic image. Most people kind of think of probably these two as the uses for Flash, basically. They think of it as darkening or brightening dark subjects or overpowering the sun, but there's so much in between, filling and adding and strengthening light, changing light direction, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about next as well. Let's talk now about the direction of light. Now in every scene you're going to have an existing direction of light. It could be coming from the left or the right, or it could be flat lit, it could be overhead lit. Either way, if the direction of light is not flattering for our subjects, or if we're not getting enough light from that direction, we can do a couple different things. Now over here, we're basically adding to the existing light direction. So if you look at this first photo of this family, the first shot doesn't have any added Flash, it's just the natural ambient shot. Now we could expose this for their skin tones and end up with a nice looking shot. The only problem is we're gonna lose most of our background. We place them in this beautiful backlit scene and that would just brighten up and blow out. But with the existing light at this level of exposure, we don't get enough of that light coming in. You can see the light direction is from the right side. We just don't get enough into the eyes. We don't get enough onto the skin. We don't get enough overall. So what we've done here is we've used Flash just to add to the existing light direction that was naturally in the scene. And we end up with a very natural looking portrait, beautiful shadows and fall off. It looks fantastic. It looks natural and it looks great. Over here on the right side, well, we have an image here that has what I would describe as kind of poor light direction. This model is standing in a backlit area where we have really no light kind of direction overall. It's very flat basically. So the light's kind of just coming straight on at her. We have a little bit of top-down lighting, meaning that her eyes are going to be in the dark. It's just not a very flattering light direction. So in these types of situations, rather than add to an existing light direction, we can use Flash to just change, to modify that light direction, which adds a lot of additional production value and a much more just kind of interesting looking image to look at. So here we've brightened her up with a bit of Flash coming from left to right. And for portraiture, that's going to be a big deal. Changing light direction is huge because light direction is what we use to really enhance and flatter our models. We want to basically bring focus and attention to their best features in the camera. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to control the light direction. Let's go on to the next step, our next point of control, which is the quality of light. Now, quality of light is one of those subjects where if I were to say, what is the ideal quality of light? A photographer would probably say, super soft, wrapping light that's diffused and perfect. And that is a fantastic quality of light. But I want to say that there is no right quality of light. There's only a right quality of light for the type of scene that you're working in and the type of subject and emotion that you want that image to convey. And let me show you the examples of that. Here on the left side, we're using soft and diffused lighting for creating flattering portraits. Okay, so here we have a headshot. We're going to show you a beautiful square setup where you can use one single flash to create beautiful headshots. Here on the bottom, we're just using a reflector with a little bit of bounce flash to add to this beautiful natural light portrait. We're just adding a bit of direction to what was a nice natural light shot. And it's nice with flash too. Over here though, we're using a hard and direct flash. We're going to do a studio session with Yoko where it's basically designed to have this more kind of punk and editorial feel to it. And we're using direct flash throughout that entire set, and you'll find it actually works very nicely. It's something that's done a lot in music and editorial images and so forth. It's a fantastic look, but you wouldn't go and flash, you know, your engagement sessions with direct flash. It's not going to look great for that type of scene and that type of image, but it does work great here. On the bottom, we use direct flash to basically create a kind of motion dance floor image. And these are fantastic if you are an event or a wedding photographer. Using direct flash to freeze your subjects, you kind of create motion by slowing down the shutter. It's a fantastic effect that we're going to show you guys. Let's move on to the next one. Here, we're using specular light. Now, we're going to talk about this in more detail, but basically this is diffused, this is specular, meaning that it has lots of highlights, lots of punch, very high contrast type of light. We're using that in studio to create this very dramatic and stylistic look for these athletic portraits. So this is using basically pretty much a hard type of light to create this kind of look because we want to create defined shadows. But again, this specular light wouldn't necessarily look good if you just want a flattering type of natural portrait. So again, specular light for stylistic effects is fantastic. Here, we're using a very soft, diffused directional light to enhance the existing light. Again, we're not trying to overpower anything in this scene. This is a scene that I wanted to look very natural. We simply have a white reflector bouncing flash at a very soft power just to give them a little bit of direction to clean up the existing light and so forth. And down here, we're using that same type of soft, diffused light to add just a nice overall look to this portrait of Yoko out in this field. So, quality of lights, we have soft, we have hard, we have diffused, we have specular. There's no one right type of light. There's just a right look for the type of subject and the scene that you're working within, and we're going to talk about all that in more detail as we go through. Let's go on to the final point, which is to control the color of light. So, as you guys know from Photography 101, and hopefully you guys have all watched Photography 101, that every type of light source has its own color. From daylight to tungsten lights to the LED lights that we're using in the studio, from flash to gelled flash and so forth, all these different types of light have different colors to them, and even sunlight at different times of day has a completely different color. When that color of light basically does not match the look that we want to have, whether it's bad lighting color, or whether it simply is for creative purposes we want to change that color, this is where flash can give us a lot of control over the color. So on this left side, we basically have stylistic color modification. This is where we modify existing light color for stylistic purposes. There's nothing wrong with the existing light color. I just thought it would look cool to have an orange light over the subject so that way we can drop the background into a deep blue. So we get this beautiful blue look which matches the bikini extremely well. It has a very dramatic look for this swimsuit portrait here. Over here on the right side, well, we have bad existing light color because the light color that's naturally in this shot over here without flash, this is the light color coming off of these buildings behind me. And that light is it's basically office lighting, like that sodium vapor kind of light. It's very green, it doesn't look good. And so what we're doing in this situation is we're adding our own light to clean up the existing light. So we're basically modifying the color of light so it looks much more flattering. It cleans it up, it adds beautiful, we kind of are adding to that existing light direction. We just clean up the quality and the color of the light with the flash. So for stylistic purposes or for corrective purposes, we can use flash to modify the color of light. So these are the reasons. Overall, we use Flash because it gives us tons of control regardless of the scene that we're working within. And what does it give us control over? The amount. It gives us control over the direction, it gives us control over the quality, and it gives us control over the color of light. Every one of these things we're going to talk about in more detail as we go on, so let's head on to the next video now.